Here is a fact that should not be possible. In 1933, a unit of electricity cost an ordinary family 9 times more than it costs you today, in real money. 9 times more expensive, and their light bill was still a fraction of yours, because they used less electricity in a whole month than your house burns through in 2 days. They were not sitting in the dark, friend. They knew something. And my father wrote it down in pencil, in 6 words, in a green ledger sitting 1 floor below me right now. Meanwhile, you opened your electric bill at the kitchen table this month and read the number twice. $144 is the average in this country now, and plenty of you are looking at worse. You lived like a careful person lives, and the number came anyway, the way it comes every month, like weather. So this video is the method. It costs almost nothing: a rope, a screwdriver, a plug strip, and 1 free week of paying attention. Most of it you can do this Saturday, and near the end I'm going to read you those 6 words from February of 1933 and hand you a free government bulletin, older than my father, that you can download tonight without paying anybody a dime. My name is Walt. Come on down to the workshop with me, friend. The drawer is already open. It is a ledger. Green cloth cover, corners worn down to the cardboard, pages gone the color of weak coffee. My father kept it from 1931 to 1939, in pencil, in a hand so careful it looks like it was printed by a machine. Every dollar that came into his house and every dollar that left it is written down in these columns. He was not an accountant. He worked at a rubber plant in Ohio. But he wrote it down, so I do not have to guess. Now set the scene, because the winter of 1933 was about the worst season this country ever walked through. 1 working man in 4 had no job at all. Banks were folding up by the hundreds. In the cities, about 9 homes in 10 had electric light by then, but out on the farms, it was the opposite. 9 in 10 still lit the evening with kerosene. Electricity was the new precious thing, and the families who had it treated it exactly that way, precious. Here is the page. February 1933. Electric light, $2.10. That was the whole month. And under it, in the margin, he wrote 6 words I will read you at the end of this video, because they are the entire method in 1 line. By the end of this video, you will have that method, every step of it, and you can start this weekend. Now let me be honest about who is talking to you, because I was not always the man holding this ledger. I was a machinist for 40 years. I spent my working life with micrometers, measuring steel to 1/10 of a thousandth of an inch. And then I drove home every night to a house I never measured at all. For 50 years, this book sat in a drawer and I never opened it. I bought whatever plugged in. I paid whatever they printed. Then, a few winters back, the electric bill came and it said $480. I read it standing up. And here is the truth about that night. I was not angry at the power company. I got angry at myself, because the answer had been sitting in my own basement since before I was born. So I started measuring, the way my father did. And the first thing the arithmetic showed me is this. In his day, a unit of electricity cost about 6 cents, which in today's money is around $1.50. Today you pay about 17 cents for that same unit. Electricity is nearly 9 times cheaper than it was for him in real terms, and somehow the number on your bill is 70 times the number on his page. He bought less than $1 a day of it and watched every drop. We buy it like water and never look at the meter. That is not a technology problem. That is a habits problem, and habits can be fixed for free. Here is the method. First layer. My father did not start by turning things off. He started by writing things down. So that is your first week, and it costs you nothing. Go find your electric meter. It is on the side of your house, and I promise it does not bite. Once a day, at the same time each evening, write down the number. Subtract yesterday from today, and you have your kilowatt hours for the day. A kilowatt hour is just a unit of work. 10 old 100-watt bulbs burning for 1 hour. That is 1 kilowatt hour. Your bill tells you what you pay for each one. Multiply, and for the first time you will know what a Tuesday in your house actually costs. Most folks burn somewhere between 25 and 35 of those units a day, because the average home now runs through about 865 in a month. Do that for 7 days. Do not change anything yet. Just watch. The ledger does not lie. And by Sunday, you will already see which days cost you double, and you will already know why. I will tell you what my own first week found, because it embarrassed me. A 30-year-old icebox humming away in the garage, keeping 6 cans of soda pop cold around the clock. More than $100 a year for nothing. 40 years measuring steel to 1/10 of a thousandth, and I got schooled by a refrigerator. Your house is hiding one of those, too. Week 2. You go hunting for the 3 hungry entries, because in nearly every house the same 3 animals eat first. Number 1 is hot water. Heating water is close to 1/5 of everything your house uses all by itself. Number 2 is the clothes dryer, which quietly runs you about $100 a year in a typical family, and a good deal more if it runs every day. Number 3 is the strangest one, the ghost load. The televisions, the cable boxes, the chargers, the little glowing lights that sip power all night while you sleep. The Department of Energy says that sleeping equipment is 5 to 10% of a home's whole electric use. In some houses, close to $200 a year for nothing. For standby. And here is what you do about them in one Saturday. You turn the water heater down to 120 degrees Fahrenheit. 120. I will say it twice because most of them leave the factory set hotter than that for no reason you benefit from. You switch the laundry to cold water, which gets your clothes just as clean, and you remember the oldest drying machine ever built, which is a rope and the wind. And you put the television corner and the desk corner each on a plug strip with a switch, and when the house goes to bed, the switch goes off. The ghosts do not sip what they cannot reach. Do those things and change nothing else about how you live, and 10 to 15% comes off most bills. On the average bill, that is $15 to $20 a month. Call it $200 a year. $200 a year for a strip switch, a clothesline, and a screwdriver. Now you might fairly ask why nobody taught you this. Your grandmother knew all of it, so how did it get lost between her kitchen and yours? It is not a conspiracy, friend. It is arithmetic. After the war, power got cheap, and the sellers of things got clever. They ran campaigns for the all-electric home. Some houses even got a medallion by the front door like a prize for owning the most machines. The message in every magazine was the same. Stop counting. Counting is what poor people do. Modern people just plug in. And the billing changed to match. My father read his own meter and felt every unit go by. You get 1 envelope a month, 30 days after the money is already spent, a number with no faces on it. You cannot see a habit in a monthly total. It is designed so you cannot. Here is the part I need you to hear. Those old skills did not disappear because they stopped working. They were set down because nobody could sell them. There is no monthly fee on reading your own meter. There is no financing plan on a clothesline. The knowledge was not banned. It just got removed from the catalog, one forgotten Saturday at a time. And hold on to February of 1933, friend, because those 6 pencil words are still coming. And once you hear them, you will see this whole video was hiding inside them. Now, if you are sitting there thinking this all sounds fine for a paid-off house in Ohio, but your situation is different, stay with me, because this next part is for the house or the apartment you live in right now. If you rent, you still own your habits. The meter trick, the cold wash, the strip switches, the task lighting, every bit of that travels with you, and none of it needs a landlord's permission. If your home is all electric, this matters more for you, not less, because heat and hot water are your biggest entries, and the water heater dial is still yours to turn. Use light like it costs something, because it does. My father lit the task, not the building. One good lamp where the mending was, not 6 fixtures blazing over empty chairs. Swap the 5 bulbs you use most, and leave the closets for later. In the kitchen, put the lid on the pot. Match the pot to the small burner. Turn the oven off 5 minutes early and let the stored heat finish the job. Small entries, but they repeat every single day, and repeating entries are what a ledger teaches you to respect. Now the honesty, because we do not sell fairy tales on this channel. There are 3 situations where this method will not save you the way I just described, and you deserve to know them. First, if you live where the air conditioner runs 5 months a year, or your winter heat is electric, then the season is the bill, and habits only nibble at the edges of it. The real money there is insulation and the thermostat, and that is its own entry in this ledger for another Saturday. Second, medical equipment. If there is an oxygen machine or a sleep machine or anything with a heartbeat attached to it in your house, that is not waste. You do not put that on a switch strip. That is not a bad entry, friend. That is the best money you spend. Third, read the 2 halves of your bill, because part of what you pay is delivery charges and fixed fees, and no amount of thrift touches the fixed part. Know which half you are fighting. The ledger only wins the half that moves. And the safety, because the old ways come with rules. Do not turn the water heater below 120 degrees. There are germs that like water cooler than that. Never run a space heater off a plug strip. It goes straight into the wall, or it does not go at all. And if you burn anything for heat in this house, you own a carbon monoxide detector. No exceptions. And anything behind a metal plate, anything that means touching wiring, the breaker goes off first, and you know when to call a licensed electrician. There is no shame in that call. There is a lot of shame in the alternative. Everything I have pulled out of this ledger, the worksheets, the bill calendar, the whole method, lives in one place now. It is called the Depression Household System, and it is in the description below. $17, yours forever, no subscription, because you know how I feel about subscriptions. Now stay right here, because what comes next is the entry I built this entire video around. February 1933. My father's hand in pencil, and in the margin the 6 words, "Heat is money. Don't spill it." Now let me tell you what that meant at my mother's stove, the way the story came down to me. She had a wooden box in the corner of the kitchen, packed tight with straw and newspaper, with a nest in the middle shaped exactly like her big pot. Mondays she would bring the beans to a hard boil on the stove. 10 minutes. That is all the fuel she spent. Then the pot went off the fire, down into the nest, a cushion on top, lid closed. And that box, with no flame and no cord and no meter running, held the heat so well that supper finished cooking itself all afternoon. Beans, stews, oatmeal set the night before. The heat she had already paid for did the work, instead of spilling out of a pot into the kitchen air for 6 hours. They called it a fireless cooker. And here is the part you can check for yourself, because I do not deal in fairy tales. In 1917, the United States Department of Agriculture printed a manual on it, Farmer's Bulletin number 771, called Homemade Fireless Cookers and Their Use. Building plans, cooking times, the science of it, written by the government home economists 100 years ago. It is free tonight on the Internet Archive and in the University of North Texas Digital Library. Search the bulletin number and the word fireless. Your government wrote you a book on cooking supper nearly for free, and then everybody forgot the book existed. You can build the modern version in 20 minutes. A hard-sided picnic cooler and 2 thick towels. That is the whole machine. Boil the pot hard, lid on, nested in the towels inside the cooler, shut the lid, walk away. Now hear the safety, because this is the one place we correct the old folks instead of quoting them. Bring it to a full rolling boil first. Keep the lid shut so it stays steaming hot, and eat it the same day. And modern canning and food safety rules come from today's Department of Agriculture, not from 1917. We take their thrift and our science. That is the deal. So what should you feel right now? Not excitement, friend. Excitement fades by Tuesday. What I hope you feel is the quiet satisfaction of a man who stopped renting his own life back one envelope at a time. And maybe a little of what I felt the night I finally opened this book. Not anger at the power company. Anger that somebody taught 2 whole generations to stop counting and called it progress. You took some of that back today. A meter you know how to read. 3 switches. A box that cooks supper on heat you already bought. Small entries, but the ledger doesn't lie. Small entries, repeated, are how a house gets strong. Do one thing for me before you go. In the comments, just write the year your parents were born. That is all. One number. I read every one of them, and it tells me whose kitchens we are recovering here. And come back next Saturday, because I am opening the ledger to the food pages. 7 suppers my mother cooked in the worst year of the Depression. Every one of them still under about $2 a plate in today's money. And the first one will surprise you, because it starts with a loaf of stale bread most people throw away. If you want to be here for it, subscribe, and you will find it waiting. This is not a channel. It is a family ledger, reopened, one entry at a time.